Guys, the Puff Daddy verdict is in. Love it or hate it. He was found not guilty of racketeering and conspiracy. That's the RICO Act, which carry like 30 years. Found not guilty for the sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion of Cassie Ventura. Transportation to engage in prostitution, guilty, which means Cassie was a prostitute in the eyes of the court. Sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion for 50 Cent baby mama, aka Jane Doe, not guilty. Transportation to engage in prostitution, guilty. These are the Mann Act, crossing state lines to do debaucherous stuff. It's actually called like the Slave Act too, from back in the day, but we'll get into that later. But Diddy, everyone thought he would be coming home today. But the judge had other plans. Let's take a listen.
Let's bring in Lisa Evers here. We're learning right now, Lisa, that apparently bond has been denied.
Okay, that's
well, I don't know if that's getting it. Let's use this one.
Let's get Jeremy here.
Yeah, Jeremy, can you come back in here when you get a moment? So what we had been positioned for was an argument that because the jury found Sean Diddy Combs guilty only on the lesser of the charges, that there was a presumption that he might be able to go home. The judge even asked him at one point, I imagine you don't want to go back to MDC. He nodded vigorously. Right? Let's use this microphone. I'm not sure if that one works. And Jeremy, if you'll come in here
Jeremy.
too. Should we start with Jeremy's reaction?
Jeremy Sallin is with us. He's a criminal defense attorney and former Manhattan prosecutor. And the bail, the news is that bail has been denied.
Yeah, that the judge.
So there is the law, the statute says in substance that bail would be denied, meaning that he goes in and stays in. There's not an exception. For example, there could be an exception where the prosecution says we consent, and there's other pieces to it as well. There could be a danger to somebody or not, but the bail being kept as it is not necessarily atypical because of the law, though one would believe the fact that he was not convicted of the top charge, and it's been a reduction, and people do walk free and come back and ROR'd.
Well, keeping the bail as it is means there's no bail.
Right. So he's remanded, he's held without bail. So this doesn't change the potential sentence, obviously, because it's still up to 10 years, but for the immediate gratification purposes of getting out, doing what he needs to do and fighting this from the outside in terms of preparing for that sentencing, now it's been stripped.
And let me just add, this morning the prosecution was very adamant about wanting to have this extra time to present their argument to the judge, and seemed obviously they were disappointed with the verdict. It was very visible and very obvious, but they wanted to keep him behind bars, and they said, Your Honor, we need several hours to really get this.
Yeah, so they had like they had till like 1 p.m. to create letters. Now, a lot of people are wondering, like, well, how much time is he facing? Well, we'll let Judge Mathis explain exactly how much time he's facing, and it truly is about 57 months or 54 months.
That Sean Diddy Combs has been convicted of interstate transportation of prostitutes, two counts, and has been denied bail. Although I really am concerned about the assaults against the women, particularly disrespecting black women as such, we must go with what he has been convicted of and respect the jury. And as I had predicted, he should be convicted after hearing and closing arguments of only the 2 counts of interstate transportation of prostitutes. We'll see in the future. Listen to us this next week on the Mathis verdict, as we'll talk about the entire case and the sentencing. The sentencing guideline for a first-time offender is 21 months to 27 months for each count. We'll see whether they're consecutive, whether they're concurrent, or if he deviates from that first-time offender assessment or sentence, if you will. Stay tuned.
Now, Diddy's life is literally in the judge's hands. Now, the judge is bound by previous sentences, and it's a violation of the Mann Act, transportation to engage in prostitution. So you have to take a look at all the other sentences, and like the state does have to follow guidelines unless they deviate, but they have to have a reason to deviate. Like, one, all of the violent stuff, like we can all agree that if this was domestic violence, he should have been like charged to the fullest extent of the law. But it's literally taking some women overseas who were, I mean, not overseas, but consensual women over state lines to engage in prostitution. Now, it is fun to note out, or that you should note, that Cassie was granted immunity. And DJ Vlad is right here, who's actually interviewed some of the escorts, and he said Cassie is guilty of the same prostitution charges Diddy was just convicted of. I interviewed 3 of the male escorts. All 3 of them said the same thing. Cassie picked them, contacted them for freak-offs, enjoyed the experience, and paid them. Meanwhile, she's sitting on $30 million and writing letters to the judge asking him not to give Diddy bail. This is actually a truthful statement.
That's a truthful statement.
Because when bail came up, her lawyer put out like a statement stating how he should be kept in because he's a danger to her. He may retaliate against her or other victims. Now, Boosie over here had something to say, who's actually been rocking with Diddy for a long time.
You know, the reason is because I'm tired of seeing us black moguls get took down like that, bro. Like, and I'm tired of seeing us black people go against us black moguls like that. And I feel like if Diddy was a white man who done all this shit for people, you know, I know he ain't paid people, but if he done all this shit for hip-hop, if he was white, they would have had so many white people out there protesting for this man losing his life behind a relationship, you know.
To be fair, Diddy did have people out there protesting on his behalf, and they were actually paying like homeless people to wear like free Diddy shirts. I don't know if that was those people tied to it, but you know, there were people on both sides who supported him and who thought he was horrible. Now, me, I do think he is a horrible person for, you know, how he treated Cassie, like beating her, the physical part of it. But do I think Cassie's a victim? No. Do I think 50 Cent baby mama is a victim? No. Cassie's a victim of domestic violence. But the freak-offs is literally text messages of her saying she wanted them. You know, she told a guy to release in her mouth his golden juice.
And people always Boosie was on Diddy's side. Nah, it ain't that. It's because I'm thinking about 7 children. Y'all thinking about one person. I'm thinking about these 7 kids who been in my kid's position. Not knowing if your daddy gonna come home or not is a burden on the child. So all y'all was like, no, I'm thinking about them damn children, man. So man, I'm glad he free, bro. You know, like I've been said, I don't feel he was guilty of nothing. You know, nothing but domestic violence. You know. But the court spoke, man, and man, I'm happy that dude children, man.
I mean, I'm happy they didn't. I don't think the Bad Boy Records was a criminal enterprise for him freaking off.
I know his feeling right now, Brian.
Now,
I'm just happy for them children, man.
I know there's a lot of support for Cassie, but you know, keep in mind Cassie cheated on Ryan Leslie, like, with Diddy. If you guys don't remember, like, Cassie was monkey branching. She was with Ryan Leslie before she met Diddy. And then she cheated on Ryan Leslie with Diddy, then cheated on Diddy with Kid Cudi, went back to Diddy, cheated on Diddy with the trainer, then married, then was dealing with the trainer, cheating on the trainer with Diddy, literally FaceTiming her husband, her now husband, while she was getting her cheeks clapped by Diddy. So I know I just don't be like, I see Cassie, I'm like, you volunteered for that shit. You wanted that shit. Not the beatings. Not the beatings. But she was with the freak-offs. And I know, like, people say, well, coercive control. She wasn't a prisoner. But Diddy's lawyer didn't have anything to say. They're not going to make any statements until after. Now, outside, people were getting goddamn crazy out here. People pouring baby oil on each other. Yeah, the Diddy trial has been one of the biggest content creation spectacles, at least in the last 10 years, right?
I told y'all this to get it. Keep on giving. Yes.
Now, I get it, you may not be simping for her, but at what point did Cassie go from volunteer to victim? Like, can we pinpoint that? Sure. When she got beat up, victim, 100%. No one disagrees with that. When she was setting up freak-offs, was she a victim then? When she was picking out the dudes who was going to pipe her down, was she a victim then? When she was telling a dude to release in her mouth, was she a victim then? You know, at what point did she become a victim or coerced into doing freak-offs? Remember, she wanted the life, and Diddy was the life. And you got people like this, you know, Cassie was trafficked. Was that not clear? I'm not a lawyer. And someone responded, she planned her trafficking. She planned a lot of these crimes and admitted to them, and it was consensual. She basically proved him not guilty herself. If it started raining brains, you'd make it home dry. You know, like I said, it's going to be divisive because even the jury was, if the jury didn't think Cassie was a victim of human trafficking, do you think they got that wrong? They didn't see her as a human being human trafficked. They saw her as a prostitute. If you want to, you know, go, if everyone's going to hang their heads on the jury, did the jury get it right? Jury get it wrong? Jesus, I don't want to watch this 3-minute clip. But 50 Cent has something to say about it because he called his baby mama a sex worker, and now the court, based on the court of law, she is. 50 Cent baby mama is a little
It doesn't matter the price, can do better in life than freak offs with some astro.
Now, 50 Cent baby mama got the short end of the stick because she was literally just used for freak offs. She didn't get the Young Miami treatment. She didn't get the trips like Cassie got. She literally got, here, I'm going to pay you $10,000 to come to pick out the dudes that's going to bust your ass down in front of me.
Right. Diddy forces you to sleep with random dudes and rub his chest with man glue. Freak offs better incoherence. Freak offs better in your.
They threw Jay-Z in there as wild.
Molly, the freak maker.
But anyway, I mean, I think that was the meat and potatoes of it. What do you guys think? Did the jury get it right? Did the jury get it wrong? Was Cassie a victim? Was Cassie a victim? Let me know in the comments. And if she was a victim, we got to be of what? You know, we got to be of what? In all honesty. And here's the picture of Diddy. Literally kissing his chair when he was found not guilty on racketeering because that would have put him away for life. So we'll see what happens in the next couple. I think his sentencing is scheduled for October, but they may push it up to July 8th. So Andrew Swaney says, this is like this generation's OJ trial. There are going to be people on two sides of the fence. True. Now, he was not convicted of any underage people. It's always suspected, but, you know, is Diddy gay? Probably. I mean, I don't know. Do we care? I mean, he is taking man making fluid and rubbing it on his chest. That's not for me. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section. See you in the next video. Peace.